Just a full disclaimer before I start this video. I did this really tired. It's babbly and kind of all over the place, and it's not one of my better reviews, but again, this is not a tobacco snobby channel. You know, you're never going to get one of these top shelf exquisite reviews from me talking about I taste white pepper and black pepper and caramel and a twist of Merlot, and you won't ever get that on this channel. So if you're looking for one of these top shelf pretentious reviews, you're probably going to want to unsubscribe from my channel. But you can feel free to come in and flame me and thumbs down the video and tell me I'm stupid, and I think those are funny comments. I like those a lot. Anyways, let's get into this review. Someone's running a vacuum right outside my door. Excuse the noises. Peterson My Mixture 965. It's got 3 out of 4 star review at 3.17. Peterson's My Mixture 965 is for the connoisseur of full-body tobacco. Choice's small Latakia imparts a rich, nutty flavor and coolness. Macadamia Bright is added for sweetness. Brown Cavendish completes this blend, beloved by English mixture aficionados. Notes: from its inception and until 1981, it was produced by Dunhill of London. Production was then transferred to Murray's in Belfast, who, like Dunhill, were owned by Carreras Rothmans. I'm probably not pronouncing any of this right, but that's okay. What do you expect from a Texas redneck hick? Murray's produced it until late 2004 when BAT, who by that time had taken over Rothmans International, closed the Belfast factory. Since then it has been produced by Orlik, Denmark, part of the Scandinavian Tobacco Group. Uh-oh. Here we go. Cry me a river. Pipe Tobacco Hall of Fame inductee. They ought to be stripped from the list and whipped. Formerly known as Dunhill My Mixture 965, STG bought the rights to some Dunhill blends and changed the brand name from Dunhill to Peterson. Brand Peterson, blended by Dunhill, manufactured by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. Blend type English. Contents: Cavendish, Latakia, Oriental Turkish, Virginia, cut, ribbon. Packaging: 50 grams, tin, bulk. Country: Denmark. Production currently available. Happy Sunday. I'm running up here to meet a buddy of mine. I walked him through how to purchase crypto, and we're going to meet up so I can show him how to transfer all that to his crypto cold storage wallet. If the keys aren't in your possession, it's not your crypto. It's kind of like silver. If you don't actually hold it, it's not yours. Not many people are receptive. Not many people are receptive when I have these conversations about crypto and precious metals and the times we're in and where we're headed. How are you doing today? I'm Rinky Dink. I'm smoking my Brody Joe gifted white elephant pipe. In it, I've got some Peterson My Mixture 965. I smoked on this all week. And I like it. I have to say, this is one of these blends that I don't really think it's the blend. How can I say this? It's a great blend. I think my preferences for Englishes has diminished a little bit. And it's hit and miss. Like the last time I smoked plum pudding, I really, really enjoyed it. But I'm finding that if any blend has Oriental in it, I think Orientals have become kind of one of my least favorite tobaccos. I'm fine with Latakia, fine with all the others. But I don't know, man. Vapors and Virginia dominant blends have just really grown on me. I feel like that's where it's at. And the thing is I do like mixing it up. Like when I went and started smoking some plum pudding, that was a real treat. So it's not that I'm saying like I want to get away from English blends. And the reason I changed this playlist from tobacco reviews to my tobacco journey is because I really have discovered that it takes years to build a palate. I was on London Calling last night, a live Simon was doing, and we were talking a little bit about that, and that's one thing he said. I told him I've been smoking a pipe since 2020, and he was like, well, do you... Which, I told him my palate's still maturing. It's crazy how long this takes. And he's like, yeah, well, do you smoke everything, or do you stick to one type of blend, or, whatever. I told him I'm all over the board. I didn't tell him I didn't smoke aromatics, but I don't smoke aromatics. But, he was like, yeah, you're all over the board like that. He's like, you're not really going to get to a place where you can pick out and separate the individual tobaccos and really get into the nuances unless you stick. I mean, it's just his opinion. Unless you stick with a blend for a long time. I don't think he meant like the same thing, like I'm always just constantly smoking Orlick Golden Slice, but just you always smoke vapors, or you always smoke straight Virginias, or whatever the case may be. But it was an interesting take I had never heard before. Very, very smooth retrohale. It's a good blend. I really enjoy it. I would definitely keep it in my regular rotation. It only happened once, but like I said, I smoked this all week. I swear to God, when I got down to the last third on one of my smokes, especially when I was doing a French inhale, there were like rich tones of chocolate. And it's kind of down there at the heel when everything's really getting saturated and melded together. Hasn't happened since. I like it. I don't know what it is, but just lately, man, it seems like I either want a straight Virginia for the Britty, citrusy notes, and there are so many Virginias I've never tried. I want to try some Mac Baren Virginia #1. A lot of people say it's real light and whatever. There's a lot of differing opinions, as with everything. Not that it matters. We all have different palates. But I want to try some of that. I want to try a plethora of different vapors. Or that's the thing. I either want like a straight Virginia or I want a vapor. I want something with a little bite. I've had some Cornell and Deal exclusive, which is just basically full-on Perique, that I think I'd like to mix and meld with other blends. Now, I have had some Haunted Bookshop mixed with Pirate Cake, the Haunted Pirate Ship. I've had that in a jar for, 6 months or something, I think, maybe longer. But I kind of wish now I had put the Mac Baren Latakia flake, having smoked that and discovered how much I love it. Anyways, that was just a side note. As an English, really loving it. It grew on me, if I'm being honest. when I first started smoking it, I liked it. But the more I smoked it, the more I liked it. I don't know why. This is just one of those blends I seldom turn to, and I don't know why. I have a handful of blends in there like that. I've got a ton of Orengo Balkan Supreme. I need to review that, and I almost never grab it, and there's no real reason why. It's just opening my tobacco drawer, my active tobacco drawer. I always see something I want. This guy I'm meeting here, we used to work together in oil and gas. He was my immediate supervisor at one point. And when I was going through a hard time, I took a walk around the block one day. God divinely orchestrated that. And I literally just get on the other side of the block, and he's standing outside in a company work truck because he has years of experience as a plumber, a residential plumber. And he got me a job right then and there, basically. And if you knew of all the other things that had been going on in my life at that time, it was just an obvious supernatural divine encounter for personal provision for me. Hindsight's always 20/20. And I just called him one day, and I'm like, dude, I just gave him a testimony, basically. I'm like, look, I want to tell you what God's done in my life, and I just want to impart something to you and recommend that you go out and try to get some of these cryptos, hold on to it. It could be 2 years, it could be 20, I don't know. And he was very receptive. Most people are not. I tried like hell to get my brother to purchase silver, and then I kind of started bouncing off. I tried to see if I could talk him into crypto, and you know, oh, my financial advisor. It's like, you don't understand. Your financial advisor, his financial advisor, there's different types of financial advisors. He wants you in that paradigm. He wants you to feed into that system. That's why I'm telling you to diversify, because that paradigm is about to come to an end. He's not going to recommend you network or build I can't talk. He doesn't want to recommend you diversify outside of that system. He makes money on you in that system, bro. So I couldn't, you know, my brother's super smart. It's got nothing to do with intellect. It's just, you know, some people just think things are humdrum and they're going to stay that way, and that's just the way it is. Writing is so on the wall. Hasn't the dollar lost like 20% of its purchasing power just in the last like 5 years? I mean, it had already lost tons of purchasing power. The only thing I'm missing is a cup of coffee, and once we get inside, I'll get one. So I suppose that's it. This isn't a very... It's got a little tang, a little sour, a little spice. But I started this video early. I'm just now getting to my last third. That's my favorite part. I watched a video the other day, a guy I really like. I think he's done some pretty good reviews. And he was talking about the MacBaron HH Old Dark Fired, that when he got down to the last third, he usually didn't smoke it because it just became yucky to him. And I was just kind of like, that's my favorite part of every smoke. So peculiar. And I can tell by the way he smokes, he's not a wet smoker, so that's not it. I know that's what you were thinking. Maybe he's a wet smoker, Rinky Dink. No. No edits in his video. I don't ever hear gurgles. I used to be a wet smoker. See that too. All that went away. My wet smoking went away. It just happens naturally and organically. Anyways, okay. I mean, as far as English blends go, and again, I'm not saying I don't like English blends. I'm just saying I don't like them as much as I used to. I find myself... But see, it's kind of a contradiction, because if I smoke a bunch of vapors and a bunch of straight Virginias, I will get bored of those, and I'll come over and I'll do a English, and I'll be like, wow, amazing. I think that's half the fun, is smoking something on one side at one end of the spectrum for a while, and then you go to the opposite end of the spectrum, and you just really appreciate those differences. I'm just saying, I think I used to lean more towards English blends as kind of the end-all be-all. Now I don't. I lean more towards Burleys, Virginias, and Vapors. I didn't even mention Burleys. Like, Burleys have been doing some amazing, amazing things for me. It's just coming at me from all angles. Guys, I can't keep up. I'm telling you, I've been smoking a pipe since 2020. I went through a little hiatus where I was smoking exclusively cigars, and then I got right back into pipes. My palate is very much still undergoing major development and maturing. And I like this slow journey, which is one reason why I lose my shit when I see things like the STG McBaren Sutliff acquisition, because I don't want to, in a mad rush, feel like I need to get XYZ, figure out what I like. I don't want to fucking make this a rush. I like the slow ease. This is a lifelong journey. Just get things here and there. Allow yourself to evolve and develop slowly and enjoy the process. When I first came into this, McLellan's was on the shelves. Okay, I was watching Mutton Chop Piper, and I bought Plum Pudding, and I bought Maltese Falcon, and all his recommendations, and I was kind of smoking it. And it was during that process, within that year and a half, that McLellan's came off the shelf, and Frogmorton Cellar, and all that stuff. And, I kind of lost out on that. I love McBaren. I didn't know there was a thing called McBaren Bite. Something I heard Bean say. I love McBaren. I don't love all their blends, but I love McBaren. I think it's some of the greatest tobacco out there. Not just their HH line. Navy Flake, the Virginia Flake. We'll see what happens when I actually try the Virginia Flake number 1 or Virginia number 1. I love their Royal Twist Deluxe. Capstan Blue. See that too? I saw some Royal Twist Deluxe and I bought one stinking can. And then it went away and I was like, oh, these are rare. That's cool. I'll get it next year. I ain't seen that shit since. I ain't seen Royal Twist Deluxe. So the problem is, you get into this, it takes you a while to learn what's unicorn, what's rare, what's not. All those things. And by the time you learn, and this isn't really worth like whining about per se, but I'm going to. Once you learn, you start learning those things, it's already too late. They're either the company's closed or whatever the case may be. That's part of the process. So, I mean, if I was rich, like, it'd be a no friggin' brainer. I'd be stacking up like 30 pounds on things that I liked. 30 to 60 pounds. I'd be like, yep, give it. Bring it on, baby. I wouldn't give a damn. Mm. One quick question, if I can talk. I've known for a while when I've purchased when either someone's bought me something, thank you, Greg Tunnel, or I've purchased myself a pound of whatever it may be, MacBaron, whatever. When you get the boxes and you open the boxes, sometimes there's 2-3 years of age on the actual tobacco. Is it safe to assume that, I find it hard to believe that tobacco is stored in a climate-controlled room. I don't think that is the case. I mean, I think it's in a building, but I don't think it's under 70 with, the relative humidity monitored. Not that it would necessarily need to be if it was trapped in a bag. Maybe. But, and then you hop on the forums and everyone's telling you, yeah, you better get that in a mason jar. It's like, well, shit. It's been sitting in this bag for 2 years already, and I had some of that Burley Burley flake that Greg got me. Some of that stuff was 2.5, 3 years old. Some of it was a year old. And I touched every bit of it as I transferred it to the mason jar. The older stuff wasn't less wet than the newer stuff. It was holding. I mean, it was in one of those sealing Ziploc baggies, real thick commercial types, with a perforated edge you could tear off. It was sealed, like a sandwich bag when you seal it with your fingers. Little press zippers. And you can't tell me that these tobacconist distributors, like smoking pipes, maybe they do. I can't imagine they keep that in a climate-controlled room where they keep like cigars. It's 70 degrees or less with a relative humidity of whatever, 65 or to 70, and that's bullshit. Ain't no way. That shit shows up, they throw it in a room. That's it. Or it's in a warehouse, for crying out loud. I don't buy it. And having had cigars, I gotta get out of here. Cigars are finicky, man. Like, you gotta really monitor everything with cigar beetles and the moisture and all that stuff. You'll get mold and all kinds of problems. I haven't had that problem with pipe tobacco. I'm not saying you can't have that problem. I'm just saying I ain't had that problem. We lost power. I had nowhere to take my tobacco. It was like 90 degrees in the house for like 3 days. I've smoked tobacco since out of those cans that didn't. They're fine. They're fine. I don't like that. I wouldn't recommend that happen on a regular process. Okay, it wasn't 90 degrees, but it was in the 80s. I think people I just wonder if I could actually order the pounds and stack them on top of each other and put it in a cool, dark place and just not freak out about it. See what happens. I'll bet you it'd be fine. I bet you would be fine. Yeah, it's probably not going to age as well because there's little to no oxygen inside the bag. And I'm going to stop babbling. You all have a wonderful Sunday. God bless you. God love you, 'cause I do.